So it's the next day, and we're going to take off our clamps now. So that's our neck glued in place, and it's a really strong joint, so we're very happy with that. So as we said, our next part is we're going to put our tuners on, and we're just going to put on some temporary strings just so we can align the position of our bridge and our tailpiece. So we'll get ready to do that now next. So we've just temporarily put in a couple of tuners, and we just have our nuts sitting here, and we've just run a couple of strings temporarily down just to our bridge and our tailpiece. Everything is all just taped in place at the moment just to see how we're fixed, and just to check our string alignment to make sure everything's nice and centered. So we're happy enough with that. We've got our bridge on our 24 3/4 scale length, and we've just made a couple of marks just inside these holes here where the screws are going to go in. So now that we've got those marked, we can take everything off and we'll drill down our 2 posts that are going to go in to hold the bridge in place. And you can see the various woods there are Bubinga veneer, and then some pieces of the spruce, and then the sapele as the drill bit went down. And so now that we've got those holes drilled, we're going to press in our 2 bridge studs. Normally we wouldn't do this until after it's been finished, but because we're only going to be using an oil-based finish, we're not spraying or anything, it's okay to leave them in. As I said, had we been spraying something like that, we would have waited until afterwards. So we're just going to use our drill press to give us the extra power to just get these pressed in. And just to alter our body slightly. And as we said, we're able to do this because we've got a solid center section. Had this been completely hollow in the middle, we wouldn't be able to do this, and it'd be a much more complicated process. So we'll just go again with this. So we're just marking out our tailpiece here and getting ready to drill that. And so we're able to use our center line here to get this properly aligned, and also the top of our binding. So with just that held in place, and because we've got a bit of movement in the piece itself, we don't need to be too accurate, and we just want it to look like it's completely in place, in line with the center line, rather than trying to follow the string alignment exactly. So we're just going to give that a small mark in each of those holes. We can take our piece away, and then we can use those 3 holes we've got marked. We'll then drill in for our 3 screws. So now we've got all our holes drilled, we're just taking some grease here, and we're just dipping the tip of our screw into it, and just to make sure it goes in nice and easily. And then we can just screw that home. So because these screws are so small, that's why we use grease, etc. Because we definitely don't want the heads of these breaking off or anything like that. Be a nightmare to fix. So we'll just go on ahead and we'll get the rest of our screws in. So now we've got our tuners in place and all screwed in. And as you've seen, we drilled and put in for our strap buttons. We've got our bridge posts in and our tailpiece ready. We did our output jack, and we've got our holes for electronics. So what we have to do next is we're going to be working on the final finish of the instrument. So we'll just be giving it a bit of another light sand and getting ready to oil up the whole thing. We'll be cleaning up our fretboard and doing all those parts as well. And then once we've got our finish on, then we'll be able to put all our electronics in and get her strung up. So we're moving on now to do the final finishing on our instrument. And we're going to be starting off with some Crimson Guitars penetrating guitar finishing oil. So we'll get a couple of coats of that on, let it really soak in and do its job. We're going to be doing that over the entirety of the body and the headstock and neck as well, etc. And then we'll be coming back after that with some high build guitar finishing oil to build up a nice kind of semi-gloss sheen, kind of nice luster to the instrument. So we'll press on ahead now with that. So we're just giving the instrument its first couple of coats of oil, and we're just letting that soak in now, and we'll come back to it and just continue adding more and more oil until we get the finish we desire. So while our finish is curing, we're going to move on and start getting some of the electronics together. So we've got our 4 pots here, and we just have them in a cardboard template just to loosely hold them in place for us. And this is based off where our controls are going to be on the body. So we can wire up as much as we can outside of the body, leaving a little bit of tolerance to allow the parts to move around a little bit. And so we're just going to go ahead and solder up as much stuff as we can. Pretty much going to be basic Les Paul wiring, 2 volumes, 2 tone, and our 3-way switch. And we're just going to skip over most of this. You can get your wiring diagrams online anywhere. Seymour Duncan's one is obviously very good. So we'll just press ahead and just solder up all our parts here. So we're skipping ahead a bit here. As we said, we've put in our electronics, and they're mostly wired up. As I said before, you can see wiring diagrams anywhere on the internet. Seymour Duncan's are quite good. And we just basically fished all the wires through and did that. Nothing too exciting. And so we're just moving on now to put our pickups in. And we've just got them in place. And we're just going down with a small drill bit. And then just using a gold screw and just securing these in place. And with that in place, we can press ahead then and drill our other holes. So with everything wired up, we've just got our cheap little amp here just to check if everything's working. And we have our neck pickup and our bridge pickup. Neck pickup on its own, bridge pickup on its own, and bridge, sorry, neck volume, yeah, bridge volume, neck tone, and bridge tone. So all our electronics work now anyway, so we can press on ahead. We'll get our bridge tailpiece on, our tuners, and we'll get ready to put some strings on it. So just showing you our final part here. We've got our tuners ready to go on, we've got our control knobs, got our tailpiece, our bridge, our strap buttons, our nut, etc. So these are all the last pieces just to go on, as well as our strings. So we're going to do that off camera, and we'll bring you back when the instrument is strung up. And so here we are with our finished instrument. All our parts in place now. All our gold parts. And just give you a quick look at the back. And so that's our all done. As I said, we've got our gold trapeze tailpiece, a roller bridge, our 2 pickups, and we've got our lovely pickup selector ring here that we got from Hell Guitars, and we've got our gold control knobs, we've got a bound fretboard, we've got our gold inlays, our gold fret wire, and we've got a brass nut, we've got our gold machine heads as well, and we've just got a temporary truss rod covering here at the moment. We're going to be engraving Brenco guitars into that and then putting that back. And as we said, that is the final finished instrument. Just from the other side. Still a few things we need to do a complete setup on it. This pickup is very slanted, so we may have to take that back out and just make some more room for it. Our action is incredibly high, so we're going to have to take the nut out again and just take something off that to let things sit down a bit more. But other than those few small setup issues and that, the instrument is complete.